Hello everyone, Hurtful Smith here. Saturday again, so let's do another lolcow video. Now this is on the kiwi farms. No, quickie kiwi farms. Yeah, quickie. There you go. So this is from a author on the quickie telling people about the captain. So this is an essay piece. The original work created by a quickie user. It's by the way, it's been completed, so this will not continue. So this is what someone thinks of the hurtful truth level. By the way, the name of the guy is on the captain. I have been thinking about writing this for a while to fill in some small gaps in public info. This is mostly based on my chats with the captain many years ago. The captain and I started chatting in May 2018. He said that his in with Chris stemmed from knowing both Megan and Anna personally. The captain was able to influence Chris away from the idea guys. Not just because he had fought the amethyst ring and played as he had bought the amethyst ring and played along with Chris's fantasy, but also because Anna had vouched for him months before the Idea Guys saga even began. According to the captain, buying the ring alone probably wouldn't have gotten Chris to trust him, but that and Anna's vouching was what got him there. Anna also found out that Chris was buying gift cards for what turned out to be the Idea Guys, so she contacted the captain and asked if he could intervene, which he successfully did. So the captain helped basically put a stop to the Idea Guys saga. The group, which observes later dubbed the Guard Dogs, formed. Anna and you love you long time were both involved in it with it. Anna helped, but there was a dispute over her wanting time to focus on her college finals before trying to report the Idea Guys to the authorities. The captain was unwilling to wait. Well, to be fair, like, real life stuff like college stuff is kind of more important. You want to focus on like your education first. She left the group after the captain and Marvin voted to bring Null on board, as she didn't trust Null. The captain was angry at Anna for leaving the group, and last he mentioned it, last he mentioned it, they were no longer speaking to each other over it. Love You Long Time had a role partially in common with the captain of social aspects, but talking to Chris and getting him to stay off of his accounts while the Idea Guys were being removed. Chris thought well of the captain and asked him at least 3 times to be his manager, but the captain told me he was strongly opposed to doing that, and he just wanted to prevent harm to Chris. Chris kept asking the captain's advice for common sense things, and would call him just to say hello. In other words, Chris was just bugging him at this point. Chris has a habit of being generous towards people he trusts, and there was an incident where the captain sent him a photo of his own amiibo collection. And then Chris decided to start his own gathering more, on his own to start gathering more to add to the captain's collection. In early May, despite the captain having told him at least 10 times beforehand not to buy him anything, the captain was annoyed by that and said to me that those arrived in the mail would be returned to the sender. Chris tried asking the captain for money at least once. On the 18th of July 2018, he asked the captain to loan him $200, but the captain replied no. Chris apparently called CWCki and asked for money. This is not to say the captain was indifferent to Chris's financial issues. Back in early May, when it was uncertain whenever Chris would be able to pay the mortgage due to having sent money to the idea guys, the guard dogs, including the captain, were contemplating arranging a fundraiser if Chris couldn't come up with the mortgage money by mid-month. The captain only considered it due to the circumstance of Chris being exploited by the idea guys. As it turned out, the fundraiser was unnecessary since Chris managed to scrounge up money for the mortgage and even had enough left over to partake in at least one get one free phone call. In May 2018, Chris met with Rocky Shoemaker. The guard dogs, Captain Marvin, Null, and Love You a Long Time, had thought it would be would be good if he talked to her, and then both go to the local police station to report the idea guys. Null emailed his copy to the FBI on the idea guys to Rocky, and the captain spoke with Rocky over the phone to explain in further detail and answer some questions she had. If you don't know who Rocky Shoemaker is, she's kind of like from the very beginning of Chris's sort of like a counsellor sort of thing, but you used to be a head teacher and used to basically try and put Chris on the right path. I had lost where I was doing. Question she had. Chris, Captain told me she was very concerned over what had happened. He asked Chris to take a selfie with her to let him know how the meeting went. The meeting wound up being delayed because Chris decided to stop at the post office. First, according to the guard dogs, I chatted with about what happened. Rocky wanted to take Chris to the Greene County Community Support Center, Region 10, and she thought the mental health staff there would help Chris file the complaint, which really didn't work out. The lady Chris used to talk to was on maternity leave at the time, and Chris didn't want to speak with anyone else. The dogs were frustrated because Rocky didn't take Chris to the sheriff's office to file a report of the day of the meeting. The dogs thought if Rocky's plans didn't include going there later, then Null would contact the police himself. He did so the following day over email. You can email the police. I didn't know that. Probably in America you can. Over here you have to either go down to the police station or call them up. The dogs also got Barb's phone number and they were considering contacting her to encourage Chris to go to the police, though I don't know if they resorted to that. On May 15th, Chris personally went to the police by himself and claimed it went fine, though the captain noticed that Chris has been somewhat iffy with him over the past couple of days. On the 11th of May, the idea guys attempted to get back in contact with Chris and resume some Stephen King roleplay, but Chris has shut them down with his reply that he would consider doing it for $6,000. Halfway through May, the captain described himself and Love You a Long Time as the gatekeepers to Chris. However, the captain wasn't really enjoying it and indicated that he was thinking of possibly backing off after reporting of the idea guys was resolved. The following month, Null has taken the lead of the guard dogs group and the captain remained in contact with Chris. On the 25th of December, Christmas Day 2018, Chris's Twitter account posted a message from Magiclan, which doxed Lucas. Lucas blamed the captain for it, but it was inaccurate. it has actually been Marvin who did that. My understanding is that the captain only helped gather info on Lucas and friends behind the scenes. As a side note, I wasn't I I wasn't a direct party to dealings of the guard dogs. I was told things after the fact. I'm a Kiwi Farms member who often posts updates about Chris. When I first read the post on Chris's Twitter, I assumed in error that the Teen Toon Squad had been infighting, and so created a Kiwi Farms thread titled December 25th. The Teen Toon Squad reveals themselves, say they're behind the merge. I didn't find out until later that it actually happened. Later in December, content pretending as pretending to Lucas's interactions with Chris was leaked on 8chan. What the hell is 8chan? The captain mentioned to me that Eva and Devil had both blocked Chris, and that Lucas was the one leaking, based on the matching headers from phone screenshots, including one confirmed to have been sent from Lucas beforehand. In a conversation from January 2019, the captain commented to me that dealing with Chris daily, even for 5 to 10 minutes, has been exhausting, and it was why he was beginning to pull back. Chris still maintained trust towards the captain, as seen by a mention in his DM. Chris sent to Marvin on the 30th of January, which Marvin shared with me. So we got a message from Chris to Marvin. I will think it over, but I get an idea of one thing I may do later. I might log into my laptop, reset a number of followers by blocking everyone, and after that I'll say my account was compromised. I lost all my followers. Please refollow me, thank you. And I'll protect my account before allowing any new followers to come in. I'll authorize you to log in and sort out any legit from the bugbears. Yes, it's a perfect plan. Don't tell anyone except Null and the captain. I have to hack into it now. So he's basically wants to scrub everything clean, it sounds like. Contact between Chris and the captain has been continuing less frequent. By March 2019, the captain was checking in with Chris every 1 to 2 weeks and would update Marvin, Null and Love You Long Time if anything came up. He told me that month that he got burnt out on dealing with Chris, and that his role at that point would be just to be around just in case. Chris needed to reach out to someone he trusted if more trolling were to happen. By that point, Marvin was in the lead of what was left of the guard dogs group. Also in March, Chris was penalised in the therapeutic docket court diversion program. According to the captain, it was because Chris has missed out on missed too many required weekly meetings with his Boost support group. Chris thought he'd meet the requirements, but he neglected to confirm it. The last time the captain and I chatted was in April 2019. I assumed that he continued distancing from Chris and eventually ceased communications with him. At some point in mid-2018, going back a year, Chris made an off-colour joke about Brian and his girlfriend, about joining their relationship. That caused Brian to start ignoring Chris. In the middle of talks about publishing Brian's prequel comic, the captain didn't want Chris to lose a potential income stream from a prequel. so he intervened by facilitating contact between them again. So he reached out to Brian and said that Chris was in no bad situation, indirectly referencing the Idea Guys saga, and that Chris was sorry for what he had said, and that they needed to talk it out because Chris would need the money. Brian later made a video discussing that stuff, but the captain told me that Brian misrepresented his words and made things sound more exaggerated than what they were, and also that he hadn't explicitly mentioned the Idea Guys to Brian. Jack Z came up a few times during my conversations with the captain. He summed up Jack Z as someone who gave money to Chris and is afraid of Null. In January 2020, Jack Z made a couple of Kiwi Farms threads about his own interactions with Chris. He had some contact with the captain as well. However, during the course of one thread, he began making claims about the captain's personal life being negatively affected by helping Chris, or that the captain was considering visiting Virginia to help Chris. I'm skeptical of these claims because the captain never mentioned to me about them, anything to me about them. The captain briefly mentioned his personal life to me on a few occasions, but only to say that he was doing well. So, that was it for this one. This page was last edited today, 18th of October 2025, at about 14 past 12 in the morning. Yeah, I might as well show this little picture right here of a screenshot of some of the text. If it loads up, my internet has been pretty shit lately. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I'm not gonna bother loading it up then because it's taken too long. So yeah, that was the quickie reading of the Hurtful truth level on the captain. I hope you enjoyed this little reading. Like I said, again, this is just a new thing that's just come up, so this will not be weekly or monthly. Just whenever something new comes up, I'll talk about it on the Saturday. So hopefully you've had a good weekend so far, and I'll see you guys next time.